Guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're answering a paper from Pearson Edexcel, not Cambridge this time, for International GCSE or IGCSE for the May session 2019. Paper 1, Investigating Small Business. The paper code is this. Now there's two, but I'm doing this one. Alright, so for the total mark for this paper is 80, and I think we're gonna have about 4 questions, but we're gonna see. This is the formula for business studies. A couple of formulas, not all of them are here, but most of them are. Okay, for question 1, let's look at the case study. This case study is quite short. Okay, let's look at it. So for lavender emulsion business started with bakery, pastries and takeaway shops. It has now developed into several other businesses. El Cafe is a self-serve cafe selling a variety of cakes and drinks. El Bistro is a casual dining place with a selection of Asian food. El Table is a formal restaurant that uses high quality and organic ingredients. Now lavender is a business, but it has several, as you can see, several other businesses under it. I've already answered this paper, but to save time, but I'm gonna still show you how you should answer. Alright, so our first question, it is MCQ, multiple choice. Okay, so which one of the following would be a source of finance that could be used for a cash flow problem? We have 4 options, and the obvious one is overdraft. Basically, it is the easiest way to use as a source of finance. The others are just they take too much problems and they're not as fast. Okay, alright. Our second one is, which one of the following is the phase of product life cycle? Now this is easy. It's maturity. There are the others like the lag phase and stuff like that. Hold on, let me write it all for you. Now, you should be able to memorize this. It doesn't usually come out, but it's important to know it because, like this, for example, it may come out. So first of all, you'll be having your introduction, and then the growth phase, and then you have this maturity, and then at some point you'll have decline, which is the last. Now the product is no longer good or effective, or it's not selling anymore, so the last phase is decline. Now there could be product extension. This happens like at the end of the maturity phase, and instead of going to decline, the product is extended. This doesn't always happen, so but the usual stages of a product life cycle is these 4. Okay. Which one of the following is an example of fixed cost for lavender? You have your flour used in the cakes, packaging used for lavender cakes, sugar used in production, rent for lavender's business. Now, why is this the answer? Because the rent is usually fixed. Lavender has to pay for it every month, and it's usually fixed. Sugar prices may vary because lavender isn't the one producing the sugar, they're buying it from somewhere else. Packaging as well, the price may change because they may be ordering it from other manufacturers. Flour as well. Usually flour costs are fixed, but in this case, in this situation, rent is the best option, or it is the answer. Unless your landlord makes another contract or something of that sort, but here it's not stated in the case study, so your answer is D. Now, the second one is when a business employs a new member of staff, part of their induction training would include total health and safety, total quality management of the job training, government schemes. So basically, induction training, obviously, health and safety. Off the job training is a whole other process. There's off the job and there's on the job. Off the job basically wastes time, but it produces better results than on the job because a lot of mistakes could be done on the job. But here they didn't state which kind of one they're using, so you can't really pick this one. Total quality management isn't a part of this. Government schemes as well, so health and safety option is the answer. Okay, lavender buys 150 kilograms of yeast from Germany at a cost of 2,250 euros, I think. The exchange rate is 1 euro to 5 Malaysian ringgits. How much does lavender pay in Malaysian ringgit for the yeast? Now, this is basic math question. So what you'll have to do is basically just substitute. You have 1 and 5, and you're missing the ringgit, but you have this euro amount. So what you basically have to do is you multiply them together to get this answer. Basically cross multiply. Alright, the next question is lavender calculates the cost of the cakes it makes. The weekly fixed cost is 759 ringgit. The variable cost per cake is 4.70 ringgit. Calculate the total of selling 1,000 in a week. Okay, now this is tricky. So basically the fixed cost weekly is this. The variable cost is this of selling in a week. Okay, so you have to take the total number of cakes, and I think you have to multiply it. And then you take okay, then you'll get this answer. Okay, so now you have to define the term short-term finance. This is 1 mark, so you don't have to define it by the full definition, but I usually would prefer to do that because you'll get confused, so just do the whole thing, it's fine. So the simple answer for this is money borrowed that must be paid within 12 months. Okay, you can find this in your textbooks, so make sure you have your textbooks with you. Okay, next is define the term above the line promotion. This question comes up a lot, so make sure you know this one. I've been answering a few from Pearson Edexcel, and I've came across this definition a lot of times. So the answer is the use of mass media methods to promote to a large audience. Above the line promotion. This is the correct answer. And it's also, I think, same with your marking scheme. Now, state one reason Lavender would recruit internally. Okay, there's many, but this is my answer. Employees will already know about the cakes made in the business. You can write it saves time for Lavender. You can write it is more, they're more trustworthy, you can say. I mean, if you were to recruit internally, you already know your employees, so you don't have to make background checks on them. You don't have to have an interview, or you don't have to have training. So sometimes in emergencies, recruiting internally is better. Okay. Part E for question 1 is Lavender are offering a discount of 15% of customers buy 25 cakes. Each cake costs 12 Malaysian ringgit. Calculate the cost of buying 25 cakes. You are advised to show your working in order to get your 2 marks. If you were to show the answer, you'll get 1 mark. So they're buying, here as you can see, they're buying 25 cakes. The cost per cake is 12, so total is 300. And then in order to just do your math, I guess, in order to get 50. No, I like to do it this method. Some people use the longer way. I used to do that, but no, you just take 100% and then minus 15, and you get this, and then you do the rest. So this is your final answer. And this is what you'll get after a 15% discount. All right. Explain one advantage of being a franchisee. Okay. Being a franchisee means investing in an already successful business. Now this is 1 point. You have 3 marks. This is one advantage, obviously. And it gets advice and training from the franchisor. Another one. Hold on. Let me use another color. Also, this is the 3rd point. This reduces risk and failure of business. Okay, 3 points. You can write anything else that makes sense, and you'll still be awarded for the mark. Now, for those of you who are doing Cambridge, the way marking is really different, especially for the long questions. So you guys don't really have to. I mean, it's fine if you're practicing on these kind of paper, even if you're not doing Pearson Edexcel. But please make sure, if you are doing Pearson Edexcel and you are used to the Cambridge style, you should know how it is being awarded, the marks, I mean, because it's kind of upside down. It's not like Cambridge. Kids in Cambridge, for the long mark question, you are actually awarded for answers that are not in the marking scheme if they make sense. However, for the small questions like these, like this one here, F, that was the 3 mark question. Now these in Cambridge, you are not expected to write anything more than what is in the marking scheme, so you're not really awarded anything if your answer isn't really in the marking scheme. However, in Pearson Edexcel, it's the other way around. You're awarded for these kind of questions if you were to write any other answer that is suitable. But for these, there are limited answers. They're from the 6 mark question, the 9 marks, the 12 mark, and so on. So make sure you know how to answer in order to get the full marks. Alright, the last question for this question 1. Analyze why customer satisfaction might be important to Lavender. Well, this is very obvious. Honestly, at this point, there are many answers, but like, if you read your textbook or you have your notes, there are fixed answers for these kind of questions. So basically, customer satisfaction is one of the most important factors to a successful business. Now we know that when customers are satisfied, this will increase their loyalty and produces a better image to Lavender. Lavender won't have to be promoting to their business, as they have loyal customers who can tell their friends and family and stuff like that about the business. This results to a better revenue for Lavender and its other food outlets. Now, please, when you're answering, please do mention the business name, their product, let's say their role in the business if it was asking about a manager or employee and stuff like that. Because it is actually one of the points that you have to be awarded for by mentioning the business name. Make sure you always mention it. If you're practicing by yourself and you feel like, okay, I know, but if in exam you have to mention it. All right, this is it for question number 1. Okay, now question number 2. State one non-financial method of motivating staff of Lavender. Oh, there's a lot. And again, this is a 1 mark question, so you can have any answer. But you can't go out of the options for this one because there are a couple of options like bonus, job delegation, and this is job rotation. And then bonus and bonus is not a non-financial method, and promotion, if I'm not mistaken, these two are not. So you can choose from like job delegation, rotation, etc. So I chose job rotation. Basically, employees would be able to rotate around between the L cafe, the L bistro, and the L table. 3 different outlets, and obviously the bakery itself. State one function of the finance area in Lavender. They calculate sales of the staff. Oh, salaries. Sorry, salaries. My bad. Of the staff working in all the Lavender outlets. Okay, like I said, please do mention the business name. Explain one way a business can use penetration pricing. Again, this is definitely in your textbook, so please have it around if you're not using the marking scheme, because sometimes I prefer to use it. Alright, the business could lower its price for new products. This attracts customers to try the new product as its introduction stage and stop them from buying from the competitors. Penetration is basically lowering the price. So Lavender may want to introduce new products, so using penetration pricing is a very good method. Okay, part D of question 2. Explain one reason why a business would have a short span of control. Okay, this allows a business to have better communication, obviously, with employees, as the message will have less levels to go through, which provide a productive workforce. A short span of control a long span of control is not that effective. Especially here, you see that Lavender has many outlets, so making their span of control shorter is better, even though it's hard because they have a lot of areas for the business, but making it short makes more effective communications, and generally the tasks performed by the employees are handled way better. Alright, now for part E. Explain one reason why diseconomies of scale may occur in a business. Okay, the business gets too big, so employees will get demotivated, which may result in failing or falling productivity levels. Okay, so this may happen to Lavender because, as I said, they have more than one outlet, and if they were to get bigger, they might lose control. It's not that easy to keep up with so many shops at once. There are many examples of this, like you see, for example, Forever 21 or H&M and McDonald's. You see they have a lot of shops, they have a lot of areas, and if they were to fail to control all of them. They lose control, basically the business will fail and they would have to close down some of its shops. So expanding way too much and you're not capable of actually controlling it, it's not a good idea and the business should not proceed with that. Okay, last the last part for question number 2. Okay, our not so favorite the 9-mark question. Like I said, I get really scared when I answer for Pearson Edexcel, the 9-mark question. But they keep it simple, so I think it's good for this one. The question is rephrased in a very simple way. All right. Lavender has 8 El Cafe outlets. Oh, 8. Operating across Malaysia. It is planning to open 8 more outlets. Now, it's basically relating to this as well. To maintain the standard of its bakery products across all outlets, it needs to consider the most suitable method of production. Okay, the following 2 options are being considered: batch and flow production. Now you can choose either one, it's not a problem at all. But I prefer flow production. I think lavender should use flow production as it involves the production of very large quantities of identical goods. Like they said, here they have 8 and they want 8 more, so 16 in total. Not to mention they have other outlets like the L table and stuff like that. So using flow production is better. Like I said, large quantities of identical goods using a continuously moving process, not unlike batch production. This is good as it has more capital intensive, which lowers the labor costs, since they will operate 8 more identical outlets extra, so it will ensure all outlets are supplied on time. However, it is not a very flexible method as production lines are difficult to change. Okay. So you should be able to justify your answer. What is justification? You basically have to list down the cons of your option. If I were to choose batch production, I will justify for against it as well for the flow production, and likewise. So you can see for in the marking scheme if you want to choose batch production, because honestly, like, many students are scared. They're like, okay, what if I choose? There's no such thing as choosing the wrong one. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you. But sometimes it is better if you choose one option and not the other, because maybe it's easier for you to write about the option that you chose. So I think that flow production overall is a better option. Now this is shorter than it's supposed to be. There are many other points that I didn't include, so make sure to do so. Look at your marking scheme, but overall this is how your answer should be. It should be like this in the beginning, and then your justification here. Your justification usually is about 1 to 2 points, or maybe 2 to 3 points. It depends. If this were to be the 12-mark question, then it's 2 to 3, but this is the 9-mark question, so keep it simple, just 2 marks. And then for here you should be having 6 points in total for the above. Alright, we're moving to question number 3, and we're still on the same case study for lavender, but we have a different figure. Figure 1 is an extract from Lavender's statement of comprehensive income. Use the information below and then answer the following questions. Alright, as we can see here, this is the revenue, cost of sales, gross profit margin, and then basically information from all their other outlets. I think their outlets combined, not just like one. Like for maybe they have 8 bakeries. This is for the 8 bakeries or something like that. Okay, define the term current liabilities. Basically, it's the amount owed by a business which that must be paid within 12 months. Okay, this is very similar to our, hold up, short-term finance, but this is that borrowed. This one is owed. Okay, so make sure to distinguish between them. Okay, bakeries. Okay, sorry. Part B, outline one reason why the revenue is higher for the bakery shops rather than the El Cafe and El Bistro. Bakeries are used on daily basis. Now, for this question, it's literally random. Just write any answer you want. I thought this is a very logical answer, so that is why. Again, bakeries are used on daily basis to buy bread and cakes, while El Cafe and El Bistro are more for special occasions. That makes sense, honestly. Alright. Now, for this one, I think using figure 1, calculate the gross profit margin for El Cafe. You are advised to show your working. I think the formula is here, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Yeah. It's this one, gross profit margin. Now in Cambridge, if you are a Cambridge student, there's no such thing as a formula sheet in business. You have to remember all. And I advise you as well to remember all of them in case, because not everything is in that formula sheet. But fortunately, we have it here. So they want us to calculate the gross profit margin for El Cafe. You are advised to, okay. So basically what you have to do is you take the gross profit of El Cafe, which is 24, and then you take the total revenue, which is this one, 75. And then here it's missing, so we're looking for this one. So you just put 24 over 75 and then times 100, and then your answer is 32%. You don't have to write it, I'm just writing it here. You have to write it here though. Okay. Part D, a 6-mark question. Analyze how the statement of comprehensive income can be used by Lavender when considering its expansion. Very interesting question. So Lavender will be able to see if there is enough money for further expansion in Malaysia. Lavender could also show their comprehensive income to investors to see how well their business is performing. Alright, Lavender need to put in mind factors like overheads and outgoings, as they may be higher, so net profit will be low. So they won't have enough to expand. They also need to consider new location, if it's in a competitive area or not, or if their new outlet will be successful. Alright, so basically the comprehensive income is basically just to track the income and the performance of overall of the business, because you can't simply expand like that. And the comprehensive income statement isn't the only factor a business should be analyzing. As I said as well, the location is very important. The rent of the location, the area which the location is in, the shops nearby, and all of these are factors of expansion. Alright, our last part for question number 3 is a 9-mark question. I think this one is easy. You have these two. So to expand by opening new outlets, Lavender will need to know what its customer needs and wants are. In order to do this, Lavender are considered the following 2 options. primary market research or secondary market research. Now, in mind, lavender has many outlets, so it's not possible for them to use primary market research. It is possible, but it will take time. So my choice is option 2. You can choose option 1 again, but option 2 is better in my opinion. So secondary market research is my option. Secondary will be a better way for lavender, because it's through online. Usually it's through online, will allow them to gain wider sources of information about the area they wish to expand to, and they will be able to reach out to more customers. It is also less time consuming for lavender, as all the information will be collected and organized easily. Also, it helped them get information about other bakeries and restaurants who are competition to lavender. Okay, so this is up until here is why I chose option 2. Now, in order to justify, however, some of the information might not be relevant to the business activity of lavender or could be outdated. Also, they could spend time on other factors instead of the wanted information about food. Now, this is true because online is super random, so this could happen. Alright, that's it for this part. You can rephrase it any way you like, it doesn't matter, but your answer should be in this form. Alright, I believe, hold on, yep, our last question. In 2017, one of Lavender's outlet had current assets of 120,000 ringgit and current liabilities of 90,000 ringgit. So, current assets and current liabilities in 2017. Calculate two significant figure the current ratio for 2017 you are advised to working. Current ratio, wait, hold on, let me see if it's here or not, or else you have to memorize this. Yep, it's here. So it's basically current assets over current liabilities. So this is super easy. You don't really need to use any figure or statement. It's literally just stated in the question. So our current assets is this and liabilities is this one. And it's simply 1.33 to 1.33. You should basically get the answer in two significant figure. If it's mentioned in the question, you should answer it that way. And don't round in this case unless you have a lot of numbers after the decimal, but usually don't round for this kind of question. Alright, analyze the benefits to Lavender of using internal source of finance for its expansion plans. Okay, Lavender will be able to know how much internal finance they have available. Moreover, the cash they have does not have to be borrowed. Basically, it will save them interests from borrowing, for example, from a bank. Alright, by using internal sources, Lavender outlets will have the money ready and available in their restaurant and does not have to go through a long process to get it. Finally, Lavender does not have to repay anything or worry about any monthly payment or any interest associated with the external source of finance. It's also an easier method. You can include that. Less time consuming, and this will make them meet the demand of their suppliers, for example, or customers on time. Alright, part C. It's a long question, our favorite 12-mark question. It's quite long, as you can see. Alright, so this is like how the question should be. This is in its full manner. I included everything, unlike the one before. In previous questions I told you that it was not the full thing, so please do look for the full answer in the marking scheme, but I just showed you how you should answer. But for this question I've included every thing in the answer, and it should be done this way. You can do it in paragraphs, it doesn't matter, but I like to do it in just two, one long one and this another one. Now usually justification isn't this long, but I chose to make it this long because again, it's a 12 mark question. Now this whole thing is literally way more than 12 marks, so this is too much. So try to summarize this and count your points in order not to write this whole thing, but I'm just showing you, okay? So Lavender already uses a website to promote its product. Evaluate the benefits to Lavender of using other forms of technology to promote its products. All right. So first of all, we're starting with what is social media and how it's better and stuff like that. So social media is a great deal nowadays. It is an easy method to advertise and gain a wider target market. Okay, now this by itself is a whole point. There is also an e-newsletters that keep customers up to date with new products. I guess this is another one. Moreover, Lavender could target a specific audience based on their likes of food to advertise directly to them. Okay, another one. Lavender could also by email, sorry, I forgot to add this, communicate or stay in touch with their customers or do questionnaires. And this is another one. Well, it doesn't really have to be by email, but it's usually done by email. Some like by questionnaires or some even direct messaging, but at this point Lavender is a huge business, I would say, so by email is better for them. Therefore, using technology in promoting Lavender can personalize the information to the customers based on what they have searched for on the internet, or okay, this is still here another point, or what they have previously purchased from the bakery. Also, they could research out the current customers to encourage them to repeat their purchase or to try out new and different recipes from their outlets. So basically, they will keep in touch with their customers and they will search out to them to encourage them to buy their new products. You can see in your website who's been Lavender could basically see who's been coming frequently and they could target these customers. Okay, so I believe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm not gonna read it, but I think all of this could be about 6 to 7 marks, this whole thing. I'm not sure, but it's 6 to 7, I think. Okay. However, Lavender employees have to be well skilled with technology. Now, this is the downside. If your employees are not skilled enough, you'll face a hard time choosing this option. In order to use this, okay, this is definitely one point. In order to use this method of promotion, also some people ignore emails. This is another one, or banners on websites, so they may not pay attention to the promotion. Okay. Plus, it could be difficult to reach the new customers. Another point. So far, we have 3. Then, in the new areas, as they don't know if the business is the know of the business yet. A lot of time may be wasted on technology, while some people prefer traditional methods. All right, such as leaflets inside bakery, because when handling them there will be direct face-to-face contact with customers, which is good for the feedbacks. All right, this is how you should answer it, and again you should mention the business name definitely in these kind of question, their product, their employees and stuff like that. This is, I believe, about 5 marks, I guess. Yeah, 5 marks, and then here 7. It could be any way around, but make sure this one has more points. The one where you're explaining you're explaining it, basically the benefits of social media. All right, that's it for this paper. I really hope you enjoyed this, If you did and it helped you, please subscribe and like this video. Also share it to your friends who would find this helpful. Thank you.